Dos Equis man in the world,
Yeah.
but just the Polish version. He unfortunately passed away in 2016, but and very suddenly from cancer.
Mm.
But he lived a very like full and amazing life. He had three kids. His nickname was Broda, which means beard.
Yeah.
And it's because his wife and his kids actually never saw him without a beard. It was his friends in college. He started growing his beard in college. Before
Mhm.
that, he was barren chinned, and so the only people there's only a handful of people out there that have ever seen him without a beard on his face, and we just kind of liked that storyline and went through with it. It's also one of the easier Polish words to say, so that's why we said Broda. But yeah, he was super cool. He went to he got his education in physical education. And he once he moved to America, he couldn't really use that too much because he didn't speak English very well. So he did what many Polish people do, especially around Chicago, is construction.
Mm.
And he honestly didn't really ever feel like uh, he was a very living in the moment kind of guy,
Mhm.
but he was always there for everyone. Like whenever my mom, for example, needed him because she also immigrated with three children by herself. No, and he was really kind of the backbone of our entire family. Like he helped raise my brother Peter, who is the oldest of us three that started Broda. And so he was really, he was that fun uncle, but he was also kind of like the father figure. And he was just he really he gave our family structure. Like everyone was showing up to Christmas because he said everyone was coming, and that kind of thing. You couldn't skip out on Christmas even if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So but yeah, I
That's
can go
awesome.
on and on about him as well, There's
Yeah.
there's a handful of stories.
Well, what's your
Oh,
favorite story of him?
my favorite story of him. There's a couple funny ones, but I'm gonna stick to just maybe some of them should stay within the family. But
Yeah, there you go.
one that my mom was actually talking to me about recently was he every time people would come over, he would like to host a lot. And he often, the drink of choice was either vodka or this lemon honey vodka.
Mhm.
But my mom really liked white wine. He
Oh,
he thought white wine was, not even alcohol. So he
might as well be water.
exactly. And exactly. And so when my mom sat down and said, "Hey, can I have a glass of Chardonnay or whatever it was?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, 1 second." And he had his he had his kid go to the local pond and fetch a glass of water for my mom and brought it back. And yeah, so I mean it's just like stuff like that. Or actually my mom was at dinner with him and his wife, my mom's sister, and she was complaining about how she couldn't read the menu,
Mm.
and he had always had these readers from like the dollar store, and he was like, oh sweetheart, I got you, and just cracked the glasses in half and gave her one of the lenses and he kept the other. It's just, I mean, it's a simple joke, it's just a dollar pair of glasses, but that's the kind of stuff that you remember. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that. That's amazing.
yeah.
So so you're new to the alcohol world. Obviously starting your own brand is a whole new thing, and when it comes to that you've got to decide, all right, what is the bottle going to look like, what is the label going to look like, what is the label on the bottle going to look like all of the things that go into creating a brand and creating, a package. How did you guys decide on the bottle you did? Because I love the way it looks, and it looks like it feels really good in your hand, as which a lot of people probably don't even think about when they do think of what I'm going to put my liquid in.
Right.
And then the label looks is very cool as well. It looks very kind of modern, but also very old time as well. So how did you guys come up with all of
Yeah, that was a big back and forth. That was about 8 months of back and forth while we were trying to figure out
Wow.
everything else. The label design, I'm super happy with. It was actually my girlfriend's sister is a graphic designer. She
Nice.
does freelance work, product design. And yeah, we started off with giving her just a background of who we are, who we want to be. And that is, we want to be this premium product, this kind of um, super high end, but not exclusive. We want as many people to be able to drink it as possible, but we're premium and we're high end because we're really making it with the best process that you can make it.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so we gave her that background and you know, even his favorite kind of songs, stuff like that. He was very big 60s, 70s, 60s, 70s was like his the best years of his life, I would probably say, you know. And he we sent her a bunch of photos as well, and one of them was him sitting at this table at what seemed like some kind of party with all of his buddies, probably in his 20s or 30s, and he was wearing that blue suit
Yeah.
and just kind of leaning up on the table, just like you see on the label. And yeah, we just kind of went with that because we thought it was a nice way to show a little bit of that retro 60s or 70s vibe. Um, it's funny, actually, I was selling into a local grocery store. It's actually a pretty big grocery store. I was a little nervous about it, and I was expecting them to be very, you know, pushy with wanting to bring the product on. The lady looked at the label. She goes, "No one's gonna want to buy this label. What is this?" She's like, this looks like 70s porno." And I was like, "That's exactly what we're looking for, you know?" And so then, you know, then she kind of warmed up to it, and, and I told her, "Well, look, this label looks so much different than the other ones. If we just went with the same exact, you know, big
Right.
pretty font in the middle, you know, you got the ABV content, everything else, a cool little slogan. Yeah, I think maybe it look a little more professional, it look a little cleaner. But we didn't want the prettiest thing. We wanted something
Mhm.
that stood out and also told our story.
Yeah.
And we cut out the eyes on purpose because we wanted to kind of be a little more ominous feeling, but also
Right.
in a way that, you know, you can picture anyone there. Like you got a nice beard as well. You can
Thank
picture
you. Yeah.
yourself as that guy, you know. One of my best friends, I unfortunately can't grow a beard.
Mm.
But not yet, not yet.
Give it time. Yeah.
Um, exactly. I grow a hair with every bottle that I sell. So hopefully hopefully it'll be soon enough. But yeah, it's kind of that feeling as well. And then also that red bow tie actually was influenced from my brother Peter, who actually liked to wear bow ties a lot. And he got his first ever bow tie from our uncle
Oh,
Broda.
nice.
And so that kind of went just full circle there. But also it's untied because we like to show that it's a relaxed feel. We're not
Right.
uptight. We're not this premium brand, you know. We want to be easygoing and easy to connect with.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, other than that, like the pop of the red color, um, we're from the Chicago area, so it just so happens that that red, blue, and white kind of mix, you know, that's
Yeah.
the Chicago flag, and um, yeah, that's how we went with it, really.
I love it. No, I'm looking at it right now, and I love it. Like you said, it does give that. I mean, I wouldn't say porn vibe to it, but it is that.
I never thought it looked like the porn vibe, but
Right,
she
I don't know
said it,
what
and I leaned into it, so
I was like. I mean, I don't know what she was really thinking about at the time, but that's just
yeah.
yeah.
She's clearly attracted to it, so that's
Obvious.
all
I
that
mean, it was the
matters.
beard. Obviously, I think is she just takes right to porn, which some
Yeah,
people do that.
yeah,
But it does look like a very relaxed. You want this at the party. Once you see this, you know a party is about to happen, or just a good time in general. It doesn't have to be a full blown party, but a good time's happening, and that's what that label to me really sells.
exactly. Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
leaning on the table, all that. And then the bottle, we just wanted at first we were looking at something a little more unique, a little crazier. But then we just thought, you know, it's just something that's simple enough, fits everywhere. You know, you can put it in your
Mhm.
fridge, freezer, in a bar well. Um, the cork we wanted a, you know, a slightly nicer one to show that to kind of connect it to the natural um ingredients because the plastic corks just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But other than that,
Yep.
everything's pretty basic.
Plus, the sound you get from that cork coming out,
Oh
it's
yeah.
next level. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, when I'm doing tastings, I make sure to close it every time just so
Yep.
I can, you know, no, it's a great, yeah, it's a great sound.
That's one of my favorite things about opening a wine bottle, but it is the only time you get to do it because, yeah, you get to stick it back in there, but it's not the same sound when you get it back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, what are some of your favorite cocktails you do like to make with it? Because yes, you can drink it by itself because all the flavors already in there. But some people like to just, add even more flavors and get crazy with it. And, the mixologists out there are doing absolutely amazing things. So
Yeah.
what are some of your favorite cocktails?
Um, Favorite. So, well, my absolute favorite way to drink it, like you said, I like to put it on ice and just
There you
kind
go.
of sip it there because the ice melts and and it's really really good that way. But for some people, it's a little too potent, or sometimes I like to mix it up. So, for example, on the 4th of July with my friends, I was mixing it with like a light lager, and doing kind of
Oh,
like a summer beer with it,
nice.
or like a kind of like a Radler or summer shandy.
Yeah, Shandy. Yeah,
Yeah. My girlfriend's favorite drink with it is a spritz. So 3 parts Prosecco, 2 parts Broda, 1 part soda water.
yeah. Okay.
You can make a 2 ingredient sangria with it really easy. 2 parts
Yeah.
wine, 1 part Broda. Same with white wine. You can do that. There's actually, I just sold into a barbecue spot a couple towns over, and they're making a Bloody Mary with it.
Ooh,
I don't know. I'm That's the craziest thing that I've heard with it, but
that's
it
interesting.
the, he tried it and then he mixed it in with the Bloody Mary mix, and they're going with it. So that was cool to hear that it's you know that kind of it's that versatile.
Yeah.
But yeah, winter season coming up. I like to make hot toddies with it. You
Mm,
can mix it in with whiskey for a bee's knees. Riffs off of a bunch of classics. Mix in gin and or no, gin for the bee's knees,
yeah.
um, whiskey for the penicillin, um, in tea, like spiked Arnold Palmer, hot or cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make a mulled wine. It's basically the sangria, but also with with a little bit of cinnamon. There's a
Yeah.
ton of different ways to go about it. So, yeah, really excited about that. And again, with the new flavors, like we're gonna do like a lime, agave, and mint, and we're playing around
Ooh.
with pomegranate and orange and a bunch of different those flavors. So, not only are they all going to be different colors, but they're all
Mhm.
going to be completely different flavor palettes, and excited to see, what other cocktails we can make with those.
What does the timeline look for these other flavors?
Yeah, we really wanted to focus on this first lemon honey
Well, of
ginger.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just it's kind of like our Trojan horse into the market. Once we get it in, we can open the gates and hopefully
Yeah.
get other flavors in. But um, I'm thinking even just like seasonality wise, maybe the lime agave mint can start coming out just after winter time,
Yeah.
mid-spring, just
Yeah.
kind of prepare it for summer. And I think we might roll out the third flavor as well with that. We're not completely done formulating it yet, but um, just to kind of have a nice trio of product. And yeah, hopefully next spring would be a good time to roll that out.
Nice. I almost think pomegranate, I think so many people think, winter time as well. You almost just you could sit on it, make sure you really got it good, and then boom, come out the winter time next year.
Totally. Yeah, no, that's it. And we're thinking cranberry, or like I don't know if you're
Yeah.
familiar with black currants, but that's
Oh
really
yeah.
big in Polish food. And like a lot of Polish kids drink black currant juice as opposed to like orange juice in the morning. So yeah, I know I did. So yeah, so even like kind of bringing those flavors in, but also making sure they're kind of familiar enough to the American consumer not to alienate them a little too much.
Right. Now going back to the cocktails, I know you are from Chicago. Have you mixed it with Malort?
I have. This is a
Hey, is
very
it good?
I think it's awesome.
Okay.
But the
I like
reason
Malort too, so
so I sampled it with my girlfriend.
okay.
She was super hesitant I was actually doing a tasting next to the Malort guys. We had a table next to each other at some beer fest, and we were one of the only 3 spirits tables. That this I guess would be a good time to plug our co-packer, Two Eagles Distillery.
There you go.
They were doing their vodka, gin, whiskey. They have very interesting whiskey. Maybe you can do a podcast with them because
I would love that.
they're the really the gritty ones doing the work day in and day out. I am doing all the flavoring myself, but
Right.
they're making the vodka, and that's their forte. But yeah, so
Give
we
them a shout
were
out again. What was their name again?
Two Eagles Distillery in
There you
Mount
go.
Prospect, Illinois. Yeah. Yeah, they're both Eagle Scouts. They're great guys.
Uh,
And yeah, no, they're really good at what they do. Um, but yeah, so we had a table next to the Malort guy, and I was like, hey, I've wanted to try this for the longest time, but I don't have a Malort bottle at home. you mind if we just mix it? And I think I did about a 1-to-1 ratio,
Mhm.
and it actually surprisingly tasted really good because my
Interesting.
flavor had the lemon and honey on the front, and then it kind of took away the initial bite of Malort.